Hey folks, it's Nate. Thanks for joining me once again as we look to the horizon. And I'm back bringing you the semi-weekly writing vlog. It's been 2 weeks, and it was probably about 2 weeks before that one. But the updates are interesting. I have made my submission to Sursova magazine, and that is part of why I was out last week. I was working on that, and I didn't really want to break my flow to record a vlog on Wednesday or Thursday. And by the time Friday rolled around, I was just like, I'll just push out one next week, which is what I'm doing. So that is what it is. And I really, outside of knocking together the Sursova piece, which I think is pretty good, plays in a very different area than either of the major series that I'm working on right now, either the Nerona stories or the Roy Harper adventures. It's a modern story, but in an alternate Earth. And it has a bunch of fantastic elements to it. So I enjoyed writing it. I think it's got some good qualities to it. I think it's got some not so good qualities to it. I'm not going to talk about that much more until I know what the status of the submission is. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. It was a busy week putting it together. I think it's close to 7,000 words. And there were some other things that I had to do on top of that, mostly research related. I did have a specific idea of generally how this alternate Earth had developed, and I wanted to make sure I got some of the terminology right for that. And so I kind of wandered on some, research bunny trails, like you do. That is the danger, of course, of basing too much of your fiction on reality, and specifically parts you don't know much about, or you're educated in, but you need to double check the details on. And mine was, in my case, it was a mix of both of those. So spent some time researching, knocked the story together. I did a little bit of the editorial and prep work for my submission to Anvil number 3. I'm actually considering doing something different. I had a short story I submitted to Morian Press earlier in the year. I believe I mentioned that in my vlogs from that time period. I haven't heard back anything from them, and I would like to potentially put that in an anthology, but it could be a submission to something as well. Of course, that creates, once you are publishing that somewhere, you have an exclusivity window where you can't publish it anywhere else, and that would push back an anthology. I'm kind of debating about what to do with that right now, too. When I originally wrote it, was a Roy Harper adventure, and I originally wrote it for Moiran Press under the impression that it would come out sometime this year, and then once the exclusivity window passed, I could potentially release a Roy Harper anthology that included that story sometime next year. It doesn't look like it's going to be possible if Moiran Press chooses to pick it up. And if I submit it to Anvil magazine, well, that's going to come out probably January or February of next year, which again, well, once the submission window passes, it'll probably be April or May. I don't know if I want to push back that anthology that far. I'm already starting to pull things together and do a little line editing on that. And that brings me back to an additional important thing to note, which is that A Candle in the Wind is proceeding apace. I'm maintaining a 2 to 3 week buffer period, and I hope to have it wrapped up probably in 2 weeks. And by wrapped up, I mean I'll be done writing it, which means it will probably finish in early September. And I'm considering traveling in that month, so I will probably wrap that up and then just take a vacation until the beginning of October. We'll see how all that works out, timing-wise, writing-wise, etc., etc. There's clearly a lot of things to juggle there, but I am hoping to go to see family at some point in the next couple of months. So there's going to be a disruption in my writing schedule somewhere, between the travel and, spending time with family, the actual time you spend with your family. So we'll see what all comes of that. That's pretty much all there is to report on the writing front as of right now. So I will talk to you next week. Maybe, possibly, famous last words. Anyways, take care. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. There's a like button and a subscribe button down there. You can use those as you see fit, and I'll talk to you later.